Dom, what's your take on the GameStop CEO and Saylor hanging out?
Yeah, so you can get a similar pop from just being, seen in a photo with Nico. That will also boost, because if you're talking to my guy Nico, you're also considering some Bitcoin stuff. But Saylor obviously elevates that. So that's crazy that you can just take a photo with Saylor and have an effect. That just lets you know how heavy Saylor is in the game right now. That'd be pretty cool if it goes down. They say that you are the company you keep. And I mean, that also involves the assets that you keep on your balance book. So companies that hold Bitcoin, they keep good company and good things happen. And we see a lot of benefits. You mentioned Metaplanet. What's that thing up, like 4,000%? So this is the way. Bitcoin is the future. And companies have to start holding something of value, and they have to do it quickly.
Yeah,
absolutely. 100%, man. And yeah, like you said, Opti, the biggest tell, I think, is the GameStop CEO in that picture with right next to Saylor. What do you think they're talking about? Do you think they're talking about,
the
like
New York
ponies,
Times, journalistic
and the
integrity,
the Super Bowl?
right? No,
Yeah,
they're talking
Kendrick's
about
halftime.
Bitcoin. Like
Kendrick's halftime
Saylor, like, he did that 3-minute presentation for Microsoft where like he literally told Microsoft they're going to have fun staying poor if they didn't buy Bitcoin. And GameStop, like, now the games are like digital now these days. Like, what else is that company going to do? And it kind of reminds me of Metaplanet. Like, Metaplanet was essentially a zombie hotel chain. Like, they almost went out of business due to the pandemic. And then they implemented a Bitcoin strategy. Dylan LeClaire joined the company. And since then, they're up 4,800%, a 48x, right? And they didn't really have an underlying company. They just became a Bitcoin holding company. So if GameStop, and it already has a lot of good faith too, with like what you were saying, Opti, with like a lot of these Zoomers, they're trying to rebel against the system, like the whole Wall Street bets movement. Everyone's just buying GameStop to buy GameStop, Roaring Kitty, so it has a lot of memetic power. And we know that on the internet, memetic power goes a very long way. So if the news broke that GameStop was going to start buying Bitcoin, you know what? I miss MicroStrategy. I miss Metaplanet. But that will be very attractive to me to buy some GameStop, because I think that stock will go through the roof. It will go through the roof. Like, could you imagine and all those all those hedge funds that try to kill GameStop with all the short squeezes and all the things that they essentially were betting against GameStop dying. It was like the community. It was just like a bunch of millennials that were just basically like, no, we're not going to let it die on our watch. We're going to keep this thing alive. And they did just that, right? So, yeah, man, I mean, let's see what happens. I think it would be explosive for the stock, therefore the company. I think it'd be a great opportunity for anyone who's looking at the GameStop, the GameStop stock, because if it follows in the foot, even if it does half or, 25 or 30 or 40% of what Metaplanet did or what MicroStrategy did, I mean, that's a hell of a return in a very short amount of time. So, I mean, I think it's going to happen. I think it's an obvious move. What else are they going to do? What else are they going to do? How are they going to pivot? All the games are digital now. People don't go to the store. Are they going to let themselves become Blockbuster? Or are they going to pivot into a Bitcoin strategy? If Bitcoin were around when Blockbuster was going out of business, I don't think Blockbuster would have gone out of business.
They would have been mining blocks, and they would have been a different kind of blockbuster. They would have been busting blocks all day. You know what I mean? They would have figured it out.
They don't even need to change the fucking name. No. Dom is spot on. They don't even need to change the name. They could have just kept it. Bitcoin could have saved Blockbuster straight up. So yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see this specifically with companies that they don't see a way out. They feel like they're trapped. We heard this story from Michael Saylor. Essentially, he's like, look, I was looking to retire. I couldn't compete with Microsoft. I couldn't compete with Oracle. And then he found an edge, and that edge was Bitcoin. And now he's the best performing stock. And Japan, first Japanese company to do it. They're the best performing stock in the Japanese stock market. That trend ain't gonna stop. They just found the cheat code. They found the financial cheat code, and that financial cheat code is Bitcoin, of course.
For sure. And then look, we know to your point, Nico, the race is just getting faster and it's accelerating. And we know the money supply is leading that pace. And so again, what seems not like an emergency now, the reason why we advocate so much to learn about Bitcoin is the time to do it is not when the race is full sprint ahead and it's time to catch up. For a company like GameStop, the time is now. You only have a limited time where you can get in a good position, not just in Bitcoin, just getting your whole company in a good position. And eventually, suddenly, gradually, then suddenly the race will become too much and companies will start falling off. It's just unfortunate.